Well, good morning. I guess now we can begin our Council of Aging meeting. And we have to begin with the usual governor's notice. Pursuant to the governor's March 12th, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the North Andover Council on Aging, well, this says will be conducted via remote participation, so we are being taped to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website, www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their televisions by turning to Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26, or online at northandovercam.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the meetings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of North Andover website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Attendance, I see on my list, it looks like everybody is here except for Heather Takesian. So I guess for the tape, Joe Nahill is here, Eileen Elliott, Dave Van Arsdale, Maria Rosati, Patricia Riley, Joseph McCarthy, Tracy Shea, Jennifer Abuezi, Quintera Costa, Larry Smith, Denise Casey, Liam Morse. Did I miss anybody? Carla, right? I first was told you weren't going to be here, but then you did show up. So, okay, so we have our attendance. First item on the agenda was approval of the minutes from the April 13th meeting. You have them in your packet. I think they were sent to you in advance. If anybody has any corrections or additions to it. If no, Joe?
Yeah, my name's not spelled correctly.
Could you please
it's only
speak
one
up?
L.
It's hard to hear.
My name is spelled with two L's, but it's actually only one L.
I didn't hear that.
His name is spelled incorrectly.
Oh,
Tracy got it.
okay. When you speak, please, these microphones are not picking up and broadcasting. That's just for the tape. Oh. So please speak loudly like we all can hear. And no other corrections? Somebody want to move we approve the minutes as with the correction of Joe's name? Okay, it's moved and second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Good. Might be appropriate. We have one of our members who recently passed away, Jack Graham, on April 22nd. Maybe we can have just a moment of silence in memory of Jack, who served for a long time in the town and also on this Council of Aging. Okay, thank you. So now we have our first meeting in a long time, in over a year, that we can meet in person. Somewhat in person. We still have, who are these masked people that have to sit around, so it's not so easy to to see. And so we haven't been together for over a year, and we have 3 new members. And I thought it would be good if we would do, and I'll lead a quick introduction, kind of a thing we used to use like when I was at work with our leadership team, and anytime there was a change or new people or some time went by, we do some introductions and a little exercise and a little brainstorm, and that helped us kind of get oriented. And I'm thinking that's a good thing for us to do now. So if there's no objections, I'll just begin with that. It's really a 3-part introduction, and we each just introduce ourselves, maybe say something real quickly about yourself, and then say one word that is something that's important to you, something you value. And I'll just write it on the flip chart. And then we'll do a short relaxation exercise, and then one other part about sharing, and the whole thing should probably take 15, 20 minutes or so. The little exercise part in the middle is like 3 minutes. It doesn't take a long time. But we've always found that helpful, and we'll try it here and see what happens. So why don't we begin with Joe Nahill. Take our 3 new members first. Just introduce yourself. Again, remember, this mic is not for broadcasting.
Oh, yeah.
So please speak like you're talking to somebody in the back of the room. Just tell us your name, something about yourself, and then one word, something that you value or that's important to you. Okay, Joe?
Yeah, my name is Joe Nahill.
Get everybody here?
Yeah, okay. I moved back into North Andover about 6.5 years ago, but so we're two-timers here. We raised our children, and both of our kids went to North Andover schools, and we left in 1988 for Houston, Texas, where I was offered a position. And when we came back to New England, we ended up on Cape Cod and stayed there for a lot of years, but the lure of this town was very strong, and so we decided we really needed to come back home, and we did that, and here I am. I'm a retired public relations and advertising person, having worked for a couple of Fortune 500 companies and had my own agency as well. And I value my religion, and I value community.
So, thank you, Joe. What would be one word that would, something that's important to you?
My children.
Children. Okay. That's next. Eileen.
Hi, well, thank you for having me. I live in North Andover. Can everyone hear me? I've lived in this town for about 19 years with my children who attend the North Andover Public Schools. I spend some time at the senior center. I love the senior population in this town. They are wonderful people. So thank you for having me. And I feel like living through a pandemic with 3 teenagers, the important word that we've talked about is kindness. It's important to be kind to everyone.
Okay, so kindness is your word.
Yes, thank you.
Next, I have David.
I'm Dave Van Arsdale, and we retired here about 5 years ago when we became residents at the Edgewood Retirement Community, having moved from Arizona to be near grandchildren. And so I guess I would have to say that children and grandchildren are important.
Children, grandchildren. We did finish the new members. Heather's not here. Maria.
Okay, I'm Maria Rosati. I was born in Lawrence, married to Jim. We've been living in North Andover for 53 years. Graduated from Merrimack College, so I'm still in the area. And I've done a lot in my life, and I wouldn't want to read to you till midnight. But anyhow, I'm very active in the community. I've been on several boards. I mentioned a couple: Greater Lawrence Community Action, Child Abuse Prevention, Notre Dame High School, and presently now I am a trustee of the board at the Berkeley Retirement and Nursing Center in Lawrence. And of course, primarily, I am here at North Andover Council on Aging, which my life here. I love this board. Anyway, I am an avid reader of mystery books. I have a library. Well, it's depleting now, about almost 2,000 books. Jim and I travel the world, and that's about it. Like I said, I could go on, but I won't. And my word is volunteer.
Volunteer?
Yes, that's my word.
Okay, great, thanks. Patricia?
My name is Sarah Riley. I'm living in North Andover for approximately 15 years. I still work part-time one day every other week. And I'd say the word that I would use would also be volunteering.
I didn't hear your word.
Volunteer.
Volunteering as well.
Same thing.
Volunteering. Okay. Joe McCarthy?
Yes, good morning. I grew up in Boston, went to Boston Latin School, Northeastern University. I'm a chemical engineer, lived most of my life here in North Andover. My 3 children all went to the public schools in North Andover, and I still work. I had my company, which, for all practical purposes, doesn't exist anymore. It consists of me working part-time because of my age. And matter of fact, in the coming month, I'll be working in places like California, Florida, and New York. And life has been good. It's been very good. There's been a lot of hardships, a lot of deaths, close members of the family, like first wife, for example. And the town has been very good to my family and me. And I, too, do a lot of volunteer work because it makes me feel good to give back to the town a little bit that the town has given to my family and me.
I didn't get your word.
The word is family.
Family? Okay. Tracy?
My name is Tracy Shea. I have resided in North Andover since 2005 with my husband Christopher and our dog Odin. We have no children, and I am a financial advisor, and I deal with a lot of seniors, which is why I originally joined the group a couple years ago, because I thought it would be nice to be able to do something to give back to seniors. I worked in Boston for 16 years, but decided the commuter rail was just too much from coming up here, so moved my practice to Chelmsford. And I do say this is one of my favorite communities, so I am happy to be in North Andover. So Joe stole my word, which was going to be family, so I'm going to say my second word is patience.
Patience? Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
Hi, I'm Jen. I grew up on the North Shore, Beverly. I moved here about 18 years ago. I have been a rapid response nurse for 29 years, so I retired from that, and now I'm a part-time school nurse. And I volunteer for the Medical Reserve Corps and the Rapid Response Network. So my word would be compassion, because you don't know where someone is at this point in their life.
You said it again?
Compassion?
Compassion?
Yes.
Okay. Quintera?
Hello. I'm going to start with my word. It's more of a phrase. It's the sandwich generation. And when I really reflect on anything about myself, everything revolves around that phrase. My work, my personal life, my volunteer efforts, and to explain a bit, I'm also a financial planner, and I created my own practice to really help that exact generation, and I just find they're my tribe. It's who I am. I have 3 very young kids. They're 2, 3, and 5. And then I have elderly parents. And I'm the only one within my generation on my mom's side. So everybody is looking up and down at me for support at all times. I have family that lives, my mother lives at Edgewood, my aunt and her husband live at Brooksby and split their time in New York. I have other family that's retired in Mexico. I had a dad that I, worked through where he was in Arizona and did that, whole, oh, he has dementia, we need to move him here and navigate all the communities. So, I built my own practice locally here in North Andover. I work out of my house, and I'm finding that I have a specialty in elder care, but I get a lot of adult children reaching out to me saying, could you help me figure out mom and dad, but then could you help me figure out myself? I have my own needs. And then I started the Facebook group Merrimack Valley Senior and Caregiver Group to really connect these adult children, seniors, and then other professionals that could provide outsourced services all within this kind of Merrimack Valley area. So to me it seemed fitting to be a part of the Council on Aging. So yeah, I'd say my phrase is sandwich generation.
Yeah, good, thank you. I know we were talking with the council members, and I'll go next just to finish that out, but I think it would be good that we heard from the town staff as well. So I'll give them a minute to think about it, and then we'll ask the 3 staff people to speak as well. Okay, I'm Larry Smith. My wife and I and children, we moved up here, about 40 years ago. And originally, the job brought me up, and I was running the Chamber of Commerce in the area. And I've been retired 10 years now, and the 13 years before that, I was managing editor of a journal on management. And I think what I would put down for my word would be trust.
Trust. Good word.
Maybe. Dee, you want to go next?
Good morning, everyone. I don't want to blast away the people at home. Good morning. My name is Dee Casey. I am the Deputy Town Manager. I've been in professional municipal management for 24 years now. I have a graduate degree from Suffolk University, where I also teach in the graduate program. I've been here in North Andover for 2.5 years now, if you can believe it. I love this town. I love my job. I was at the Board of Selectmen meeting until 10:30 last night, and here I am this morning, chipper and back at work. I completely can feel with Katara, because I too, my parents live with us. Happy birthday, Dad. Today's my dad's birthday. And I have a son, so I can understand where you're coming from. But I think my word would be passion, because if you don't have passion for family, for work, for volunteering, then you don't have anything.
Thanks, Dee. Carla?
My name is Carla Ahlstrom, and I'm the Outreach Manager and Assistant Director at the Senior Center. I will be completing my 10th year working at the Senior Center in August. I started as a part-time receptionist and then became the program coordinator and then the Outreach Manager and Assistant Director. I love my job. I was parachuted into it, and I'm so happy that I have been. The pandemic, for sure, has kind of raised a particular word in my mind, and I think it speaks true of our elder community, and that's resilience. Resilience.
Resilience.
Resilience.
How can I follow that? That was beautiful. Okay. Hi.
Hi, Leah. Everybody knows who I am. I am the programs coordinator. The phrase of the senior center, if it's happening, it's Leah's fault. That's right. Why? Because if it's happening, I've planned it, I've coordinated, and I've executed. Let's go. So, I think that I want to say my word first before I kind of give a little background, just because some of these words are just, they speak to me. But I would have to say that my word that Dee stole was passion. But I truly believe that my word is passion also. I'm very passionate about serving. So I could say that my second word then is service. Serving is important in what we do at the center. It is important in what we do in this board. We are here because we are serving our community. And I am very passionate about that. So with that being said, I've been the programs coordinator now for 5 years, going on 6. And I also got parachuted because I started as the receptionist, moved into the office assistant position, and then moved into programs. And that's where I've been. And I am a Lawrence girl who got transplanted into Andover. And, you know, I still love my Lawrence. I still do. It's the city of my heart. So I am giving you my service. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. The second part of this exercise, you know, we've all been running around dealing with this pandemic, having a lot of stuff going on. And it can be helpful as a preface to getting into our meeting and thinking about the council. There's lots of ways to do relaxation things. And people do meditation or they do relaxation. What I want to do now is just invite you to do a short one that will take about 3 minutes. And the way it begins is, you, like in a lot of places, you just got to get relaxed. Just get comfortable in your chair. If you need to shake out or anything, just do that. And then we'll spend about 10 seconds with some deeper breathing. But while you're doing this, try to recall something that you've experienced that was a happy experience, a happy feeling, a fun feeling, and just kind of go back there and re-experience that. And when you're in that, feeling it, if you have ideas about kindness and want to send thoughts of kindness to somebody else, we just do that. And so it's just sort of resting in that kind of thing. And the idea of breathing, you know, it's talked a lot about what we can be in our heads, and sometimes we can go head to head with people or head to head with things, and other times we want to talk about heart to heart and have a heart to heart talk. So on the breathing part, just try to imagine that when you're breathing through the center of your chest. If it helps, you can put your hand there, and otherwise just take for about 10 seconds or so some deep breaths and just relax. And then recall, like revisit that happy, fun experience you've had in the past. And if you're thinking about some other people and just want to send some kind thoughts to them, just do that, okay? And if that's clear, let's just begin. So begin with just being relaxed, and then taking some deep breaths, thinking about, as you're breathing through the center of your chest, your heart, and then recall those experience that was fun. And now, if you're ready, you can just come back to the meeting and we can go on with the session. So, what I'd like to do now is ask, people had more than one idea about what they thought was important. So we could take a second word and say, if you want to share a second one, what is another word that would be something that was of value to you, something that's most important in life, and we'll just write that down as well. So, who wants to start? Sense of humor? Okay.
Community.
Community.
Respect.
Re-
Respect.
Respect.
Happiness. Happiness.
Happiness.
Hopeful, hopeful.
Hopeful.
Hopeful. Anyone else?
Patience.
I'm sorry.
Patience.
Patience.
Good.
Privilege.
Purpose.
Purpose.
Giving.
Giving.
Honesty.
Honesty. Anyone else? Nine. Somebody ran out.
How about leader? Leader.
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 Me?
Yes, you.
I put down.
Put your hand up.
I'll do love.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay. And one thing we can do is just look at the two charts and say, does anybody notice anything between the first or the second? On the first chart we did, the words came out: resilient, children, passion, kindness, grandchildren, service, volunteer, sandwich generation, family, patience, trust, compassion. Second one, we have sense of humor, community, patience, respect, happiness, honesty, hopeful, purpose, giving, love. The idea of doing it two different ways is sometimes there's some differences you see before you do like a relaxation, and there can be some qualitative differences between the two. So what organizations have found is they'll do the brainstorming double time. The first time to see what comes out, and then do a relaxation, do it again, and you get a fuller picture of what might be in people's hearts and minds. So a number of organizations have found it helpful to do that kind of brainstorming 2 different times in the same day. So I just wanted to put this up, let you see that, and we'll see what we gain about learning a little bit about each other and what's important. And then as we go on and get into some sort of planning and what our activities want to be during our time on the council, we'll grow, okay? Any questions? If not, then I guess we can go on with the agenda. And the next item is the acting director's updates. Denise?
Okay, all right. Good morning again, everyone. So I have 2 updates, and then I'll turn it over to Leah, who will give us the program update. So we are happy to announce that we have hired a new Director of Elder Services. Her name is Kathy Shelp. She is the current director of the Senior Center in Groton. And some of us took a field trip out to Groton to see her center. She's been the director since 2013. She's got over 20 years of experience in senior work. She also built that center and moved the old center into the new center. So she has a pretty unique skill set that we're going to need to tap into in the coming months. She has a lot of experience dealing with boards and commissions. She's a certified Elder Services Director, and in her time in Groton, she got the Groton Council on Aging certified as well. So the building was certified as well as she is. She also has experience dealing with Fireside Catering and the Weber family that are going to be taking over management of the Stevens estate. She runs a large Thanksgiving program for seniors with them every year, which is extremely exciting. So she has an already established relationship with the Weber family, which is fantastic. Her center remained open from July through December, and then March to present. So she really has a passion about making sure that the seniors have the opportunity to go to the senior center. We saw the center. It is beautiful. The decorations are amazing. She had a lot to do with that. She actually was in on the design phase all the way through to picking out the paint and dealing with the architect. So we're excited to have her on board. She starts June 14th. So she will be here for the meeting on the 15th, I believe, is our next meeting. Last night, she was appointed by the Board of Selectmen, so she officially is the new Director of Elder Services. Larry sat in with me on an interview, so I don't know if there's anything that he would like to add.
Well, I thought she was good. I don't know that I need to add anything else to what you've said, but I agree with all of the things that Dee had said. It was an interesting interview. We did interview 2 finalists, and Kathy was one of them, and she just appeared to be, very well composed, a lot of good ideas, and I got the sense she could really work well, and the other one was good as well, but I thought what's really important is that the person hired has to be comfortable to the town management as well. And I'm pleased with what Dee has done and looking forward to it.
Thank you. Sure.
The center that she built, is that by the same architects that we've hired?
No, she actually, by design, she wanted someone who had never done a senior center, so they would think out of the box. She didn't want, just a cookie cutter sort of a building, and it is a very unique building. It is gorgeous. So she hasn't dealt with the architect that we have, but I have no doubt that she will be able to, work with him successfully. Any other questions?
How many people did you interview in all?
We interviewed 8 originally. Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, so moving on to the Senior Community Center. So the last time we met, I was very excited because we were going to be signing the purchase and sales. That has not happened, and I will explain why. On the town meeting warrant is a citizen petition for a moratorium on multiple family buildings. If you recall, the senior project has two components to it. One is the senior center, and the other is a multifamily dwelling. The owner of the construction agent for the multifamily dwelling got legal advice that they should not move forward on their part of the project until the moratorium goes before town meeting, because it's a business risk for them, because if it gets voted down at town meeting, they cannot continue with their project. So right now, we are in a kind of a holding pattern, waiting to see what's going to happen. The plans for the senior center have already gone before the planning board. So it is the hope that either on the town meeting floor or by the proponent, the motion can be amended to exclude certain projects. That's what we're hoping is going to happen. If that is the case and the senior center can, move forward and that project can move forward, then we'll be able to break ground. The town manager is meeting with the builder, because obviously prices have changed. If we have to go back out to bid, I'm assuming that there's going to be an obvious impact on the cost of the proposal. So we're kind of in a wait and see period. I wish I had more concrete information, but there are a lot of moving parts right now that include, the town meeting vote, and as well as, if we have to go out to bid, if we can't maintain the current builder. Obviously, the town manager and the legal team are doing everything we can to hold the construction where it is. What I would say is, educate yourself and your friends on the town meeting warrant and get all of your friends and yourselves out to town meeting so you will be able to vote and, get involved in that discussion.
And that's still Wednesday the 19th?
Town meeting is Tuesday the 15th of June at the high school. And you can see the warrant is on the town's website as well, so you can see exactly what the proponent is proposing. But unfortunately, sometimes, some of the unintended consequences of citizens' petition is it's so encompassing that it encompasses projects that we don't think that the person had the intention to harm or delay, I should say.
Any questions? Comments? Okay.
Yep. Miss Leah.
Okay, so Senior Center has been open now since April 4th. We have opened up the doors, and we started off with small groups, which we still are currently running groups of 15 or less. And we also started off with small groups at various times of the day. So I do have the May calendar here that I'll pass out at the end of the meeting for you. But basically it shows that we run 4 groups in a day, and that's how we filled up the calendar for at least a month to see how we did, to see how the seniors responded to the various protocols and things like that. We are still maintaining protocols in terms of social distancing and making sure that the groups are not kind of overlapping also. We restarted lecture series. We kicked it off in last week, actually. Dave Van Arsdale was our speaker. But we've had several lecture speakers who have come through. Some of our vendors actually have been donating some items, and we had welcome back goodie bags, and we gave those out for the first groups that came through the door. And then yoga and chair yoga and all of the exercise classes have been filling out completely each week. So we are currently going to be having another meeting with Health Department to try to open up further groups or to open up further sizes of the groups. Our goal is to really be back into full swing, you know, in the new normal, full swing, you know, in June and then July. So the summer months, that way we can start having, you know, some of the bigger activities that perhaps we've had in the past. And then we have restarted some of our outings for shopping at the mall and shopping at Walmart and things like that. Unfortunately, we are still restricted inside of the van for how many folks can go, but that does fill up each time that we post it, and the seniors are getting very used to calling into the center to reserve their spot. It is all about the reservation of a spot. So make sure that if you'd like to come on out, and I do encourage and invite each and every one of you board members to come on over to the center and participate in one of these groups. Just, you know, take the calendar, see which one you like. And, you know I see Joe at News and Views, and I've seen Dave now. So I'd love to see some more of you come out and participate. That way the seniors can see you again. Because, you know, it's been a year, and with the many losses that we've had, some of the seniors are actually, you know, wondering who's around, unfortunately. But it's been a great task to kind of get everybody back into the door and getting them back to our new norm, and I'm excited. So if you have any questions for me, Kentara.
I've had a few people mention to me that they would love to be a speaker.
Yes.
You know, just as I'm out and about, people are like, oh, I would love to come in and present. Sure. What's the best way to connect, like, the senior center to them? Is it a joint email to you and that person, or
Yes.
is it giving them some information to reach out?
Best way for having someone be a speaker is for them to reach out to me. Via email is best, usually, because especially now that I'm walking the center and making sure everybody's, you know, where they're supposed to be. So an email, and then that way I can connect with them and, you know, set up which calendar and things like that. So just, you know, shoot them a note and let them know, here's the intro, you know, and then that way I can connect. So that's great. Yeah. Any other questions? Tracy.
Tracy Shea, the 15 people that you listed or less, is that your guidelines, state guidelines? Are those going to get larger? How does that all work?
It's, we are going by the guidelines that the health department has given us for our size of our room. So currently our room holds a certain number, and we can go up to, I believe it's 22 in terms of the space, because we have one of the largest rooms that is now open and on both sides. We did not, you know, I did not want to start right away with, yes, let's let all 25 people in. I wanted to kind of slowly ramp it up and see how people got used to the new system. So, like I said, we're ramping it up so that summertime we can, you know, get back to having a concert or, you know, some sort of get together, that sort of thing.
Excuse me.
Maria.
Will we be able to come back to the center for our meetings?
I have not heard on that. That would be something that Town Hall is probably going to give me directive on, but I have not heard on that.
If in June we still have to do the audio, video sort of thing through the governor's mandate, we'll have to have our next meeting at the cable cam station, because they have a room large enough for all of us. And this is really a logistical very large lift for NACAM and the staff, either that or the selectmen's meeting room, but the selectmen's meeting room currently has a 10-person limit. So we're going to work with the Board of Health to see where. It's our intent to have it in person, it just might not be here. It might be either in the selectmen's meeting room or in the NACAM studio, right on Main Street, but that'll be something that, you know, Larry and I and the new director will discuss.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? Okay, thank you then.
So I just want to make a comment. I cannot tell you guys how incredibly helpful that Carla and Leah have been to me, you know, during Irene's absence. They are amazing, and they are going to be such a complimentary team with the new director. You know, I've worked with a lot of people over my years in municipal government, and some you know really have the passion that I talked about, and some you don't know. These two are amazing. They truly love the seniors, and they're damn good at what they do. So thank you both very much for all you've done to help me keep my sanity since April 5th. Thank you.
Great, thank you. One thing I wanted to ask, Dee had mentioned when introducing the new director that the date of start would be the 14th of June, and that she could meet with all of us on the 15th, which would be
I think that's
another
next.
meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Normally,
The actual meeting for June is the 8th.
Oh,
is what?
it's
Is
the
the
8th?
8th.
Okay.
Yes, we normally would meet on the 8th, the second Tuesday, but I don't know that we couldn't change that to the third Tuesday if we'd like to.
It's up to you.
So would you like to change the meeting for next month instead of meeting at the second Tuesday, the 8th? We meet on the 15th when the new director could be meeting with us? Yes. Yes. Any objection to that? Okay, so we'll set the next meeting for the 15th. Okay. Any other business that people have? Joe, is there any update that we need to know about for North Andover on the health?
Yeah, and this will be the last update that I give on the coronavirus. As we know, the government's effort to help eliminate the virus has been massive and quite successful. As a matter of fact, last month in Massachusetts alone, 2 million people had received one vaccine shot. As of this month, 4 million people, it's doubled in Massachusetts, have received at least one vaccine shot. Last month, 1 million people had received both vaccine shots, or the sole Johnson & Johnson shot. Now it's 2 million. So things are opening up. As of yesterday, Pfizer had received emergency authorization for their vaccine for children 12 years old to 16. In reflecting on this past year, the focus was on senior eligibility to receive the vaccine, where to get the vaccines, and help and assistance from the state and town to get the vaccines. The phone numbers are the same. The state number is 211. The town number is 978-208-6070. And anyone that has wanted to be vaccinated, that is eligible to be vaccinated in Massachusetts, has been vaccinated or easily can be vaccinated. For example, your primary care physician's office. There are places, walk-in clinics, such as the American Veterans Hall in Haverhill. Just walk in, register, and they give you a shot right on the spot. So things are looking very, very well. And I want to go over some additional ways that our town has and our state has opened up since our last meeting. For example, If you take a walk around here now, you don't have to wear a mask outside, providing, of course, you still maintain a 6 feet distance from other people. 50% capacity right now at theme parks, outdoor water parks, and so forth. And I say this because some of us may want to take our grandkids there, and they're open up right now at reduced capacity, but they're open up. Youth and adult sports tournaments, road races, and other large outdoor athletic events have also been allowed to resume. Stadiums such as TD Garden and Fenway Park, as of today. Matter of fact, the Red Sox are playing tonight at 25% capacity max, up from 12%. So things look really good right now. And once again, kudos to Dee and Melissa in our town, Department of Elder Services, the Department of Health, and our respective boards. We worked very, very close together on all this, and things look really good. If you want to find out more, the Board of Health meeting has been changed. It's up to the chair. So because of conflict in schedule, I changed the Board of Health meeting to this Thursday at 7 p.m., and that's on Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon 26. And that is it for a structured report going forward. We're nearing the end, but I'm always open for questions.
Thank you, Joe. Well, we've just made it at the 10 o'clock hour. If there is no other business anyone wants to bring up, does anybody want to move we adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Well, we're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.